One of my many playgrounds is my writing. Historical fiction is my first love, although I have Jane Austen novels that are not historical fiction. But my latest one, My Dearest Miss Fairfax, is. I was asked to contribute a short story for a Christmas anthology of Jane Austen stories. The following was my contribution, which we called Christmas Letters.
My dearest Miss Fairfax, it seems so little time since I last looked into your eyes, but I am absolutely withering for the lack of the sight of them. When I proposed to you at Weymouth, I swear to you I was thinking it would not take me long to talk my aunt into agreeing that marriage was a perfectly reasonable request on my part. I do believe I was making some headway on our behalf, but my aunt's health has taken a turn for the worse. You knew her health was not good, which is why we were even in Weymouth to meet you in the first place. The hot saltwater baths were more soothing than invigorating for her, but I confess to you, I believe once we left, she rallied admirably for a short time. That was when I was doing my best talking, and I am sure progress was made. But I fear it did not last long. Of late she has been in such a fearsome temper, my uncle has spent days hiding from her. Being more determined than my uncle to put her in a good mood, I have read to her until she snapped at me to stop and leave her alone, sung to her until my voice was too tired to carry a tune, fetched her shawls, dispatched with her shawls, brought her the dogs, removed the shawls, removed the dogs from the room, and danced attendance upon her in every way I could possibly think of. There are days I fear she is ill enough she does not have the energy to even have me in the room. Other days she does not have the energy to prevent having me in the room. It is a balancing act of great finesse, and some days a battle of wills. She wants to talk about herself and her various ills and aches and pains, while I want to talk about myself and my various hopes and dreams. Have patience, have faith in me, my sweet angel. I will prevail and be victorious. I have seen my aunt through worse spells. Sooner or later this will pass, and she will smile at my antics in her old way, and then I will throw myself upon her mercy and beg her to receive you. It is a great deal to hope for, since there is not much time left, but I have this dream of being able to send for you to join us for Christmas. Hold fast, my patient darling. F. C. Weston Churchill.
Most well-beloved Mr. Churchill, I'm sorry to hear of the state of your aunt's health. It sounds like such a trying time for everyone in your household. Poor health is such a trial. I confess I had to giggle at your description of your poor uncle hiding from your aunt while she was out of temper. You made me think of a cat, like the ones who tend to hide under a sofa when there are people present with whom they are not acquainted. The unfortunate image filled my head of your uncle on the floor, crumpling himself up to fit under the couch. My own health has felt a bit fragile since we parted. I'm still getting headaches, just as the doctor in Weymouth told me to expect. I do hope I am less of a trial to everyone around me than your aunt has been to you and your uncle. I confess to you, there are days I certainly want to snap at everyone who is dancing attendance upon me, so I am in complete sympathy with your aunt. My Aunt Bates means well, but she can be such a trial. My head will be aching, so her cure is to hover over me, wringing her hands and talking about every headache cure she has ever heard of. I swear she can talk for hours without stopping for a single breath. I do love your sentiment of being able to come to you at Enscombe for Christmas, but, as you say, the time is rapidly shrinking. I hold no such hope of such a happy outcome. That way I shall not be disappointed if it does not come to pass. And I will be the recipient of a thrilling surprise should I receive a Christmas invitation from your aunt and uncle. In the event of such a happy occurrence, my valise is standing ready to be packed in a hurry. Whether I see you or not for the holiday, it will not in the slightest bit change how I feel about you. Ever yours, J. Fairfax.
My dearest Miss Fairfax, I was compelled to go to a pre-holiday gathering last night. There was dancing and singing and merriment, and all I could think of every moment is how much you would have enjoyed it. If you had trouble sleeping last night, I am sure it was because your spirit was haunting me the whole evening. I fancied you picking the Duke of Kent's waltz when we led a dance together. I saw your fingers flying over the keys as you took a turn at the pianoforte so that the assembled company could dance. I could see your eyes smiling at me from across the supper table. Even the carriage ride home last night was filled with thoughts of you. It snowed while we were inside, but by the time I was going home, the sky had cleared and the moon turned everything into a sparkling white fairyland. I know Spenser did not mention snow in his poem, but this is clearly an oversight on his part. And here I was, in fairyland, but you, my Titania, were not here to grace it. Every day apart from you gets harder than the one before. As Christmas approaches closer and closer, I feel your absence more and more strongly. Perhaps that sounds strange, since you have never been here in Yorkshire. The absence is not in the country or in this house. It's in my spirit. I can keep you in my heart, but my spirit is suffering from the lack of nourishment it gets from the sight of you. I can only hope that your suffering is not as acute as mine, for I would not for all the world have you suffering like this. Yours, body and soul, F. C. Weston Churchill.
Most well-beloved Mr. Churchill, alas, as you were attempting to make merry for the holidays, I was doing much the same. My grandmother, aunt, and I were invited to a gathering at one of the neighbors, and I, too, was dancing without you to dance with, and playing music without you to turn the pages, and looking across rooms without your eyes on the other side to smile back at me. I imagine this was a much smaller gathering than yours. It was not so much a ball as a pleasant evening's diversion with music and tea and conversation, and a little bit of dancing broke out. The Miss Coxes adore dancing, and since it was their home, it was only natural to acquiesce to their demands for a few dances. I was called upon to play the pianoforte to accompany some old-fashioned Christmas carols, and all I could hear was your voice singing "Here We Come a-Wassailing" and "The 12 Days of Christmas." I'm sure you and I would have given the assembled company a rendition of "Green Groweth the Holly" that would have been vastly appreciated. All I could think of the rest of the evening and all the way home was how much I missed the sound of your voice. There are so many ways I miss your voice. There is the way our voices blend so well when we sing together. But there is also the sound of your voice when you walk into a room and greet everyone with your special gift for always saying the right thing. I miss the sound of your laughter. I especially miss the sound of your voice when you drop it to little more than a whisper to say things meant only for my ears. As tired as my ears get from all the words they receive from my aunt in the course of a day, they would eagerly listen to any words that might fall from yours lips. Yours most devotedly, J. Fairfax.
My dearest Miss Fairfax, I have failed you. I am writing this letter at the last moment, on the last post, on the last day, when I might possibly have sent you an invitation to come to Enscombe for Christmas. From here on out, there is not enough time for an invitation to travel from here to there, and for you to travel from there to here. I am so very sorry, my love. I had every confidence that my aunt would rally by now, and I would be able to spend Christmas looking into your eyes. There simply aren't enough words in the English language to express my devastation. You deserve better. I swear I did my very best. My aunt was simply not in a frame of mind to listen, and I can't blame her. It is hard to be interested in listening to others when you are sick and miserable. Forgive me, my dearest. I know you weren't expecting to share Christmas with me, but I was. Every letter I sent you, every moment I looked around me, I pictured you here, standing beside the fire, sitting at the pianoforte, helping me and the servants put up the holly, getting into the carriage with my aunt and uncle to go to Christmas Mass. I realize all is not lost. While I cannot bring you with me for the ball at a neighboring estate, I can still be working to have you brought here before Twelfth Night. It is mostly my own ambitions that are thwarted. I wanted to be the one to hand you a candle on Christmas Eve night and send you off to bed with wishes for sweet dreams. That, at least, I hope I may still wish for you, my sweetest Christmas angel. Yours, if you will still have me, F. C. Weston Churchill.
Most well-beloved Mr. Churchill, I do believe, my ownest one, that you need to forgive yourself for being unable to enact the impossible. I certainly forgive you. What you were hoping to achieve was perhaps not impossible, but you must own it was at least highly improbable, given the obstacles you were facing. I have a great deal of sympathy for your poor aunt. I do know how hard it is to be patient and to be solicitous to the problems of others when one is not feeling well. I have confessed to you before that when I am plagued with a headache, I find it difficult to be patient with my aunt and with the frankly silly people with which I am surrounded. I have had evenings out when I have hardly said a word because my head hurts from the residuals of my mishap, my heart hurts from being separated from you, and I am hard-pressed to have patience for the insipid people with their gossiping conversations that surround me. I sit in a chair, gripping a glass, grinding my teeth, while I restrain myself from many an unkind word. I live in a certain amount of terror that one of the awful things I am thinking might slip out from between my tightly clamped lips. We will have the rest of our lives together. We will survive this ordeal. It only makes the prospect of our future together all the sweeter. We can start now to plan the Yuletide festivities we will host once we are husband and wife, with some measure of control over our lives. Nonetheless, I will keep my valise at the ready should you find yourself able to summon me by Twelfth Night, just in case. I shall finish the present I am working on for you. No, I will not tell you what it is. Bring me to Enscombe by Twelfth Night, and then you will get to find out. Yours steadfast, J. Fairfax.
My dearest Miss Fairfax, you are better to me than I deserve. I spent this morning redoubling my efforts to ingratiate myself with my aunt until she banished me from her presence. Now I sit at my writing desk acknowledging the wisdom of your patience. No one can push a rope. I must simply wait and let nature take its course. Sooner or later, my aunt will be well enough to think about something besides the misery she is in, and then she will be willing to listen while I tell her of your many charms, and will allow me to bring you here as my betrothed. This does not mean I have completely given up on the idea of having you here for Twelfth Night. I mean only that I shall be more judicious when looking for possible means to broach the subject. Notice I have been very disciplined and have not asked you what you are working on to give me for Twelfth Night. I will also be equally disciplined and not tell you what I am giving you. While I must be reconciled to the idea of our being parted for a holiday meant for togetherness, I need not be deprived of knowing what you are doing, tasting, thinking, and feeling. Write to me everything. I will do the same. I write that, while there is not too much to report yet, there is a large bundle of greenery near the door where the servants take deliveries. Tomorrow, the entire house will be draped with holly and ivy and other evergreen boughs. Thinking of you every moment, of every minute, of every day. F. C. Weston Churchill.
Most well-beloved Mr. Churchill, try to be patient and kind to your aunt, and I will try to be patient and kind to mine. They are both a trial to us in their unique ways, but it is Christmas, and we are supposed to be thinking charitably of our fellow man. Speaking of charity, my aunt and grandmother's neighbors here in Highbury have been exceedingly charitable. We have received jars of preserves and hams and all sorts of other foodstuffs. It is rather astonishing. I credit my grandfather. He was the vicar here for many years. I never met him, but I do believe he was a kindly and well-respected man. His good works have been remembered this long, and people still take care of his widow and daughter, and, of course, granddaughter while I am here. At least it is not quite so strange being here over the holiday. After I had left to live with the Campbells, I would not infrequently come to Highbury to visit for Christmas. I was sorry not to spend the time with the Campbells, who excel at the art of merrymaking and good fellowship, but of course I must do my duty to my family. I know you know exactly what it is like to have torn loyalties. There is the family you were born into, and then the family who raised you. It is one of the many things that make us so well suited for each other. We understand each other thoroughly, thanks to our similar situations. Understand me to be thinking of you every bit as often as you are thinking of me, J. Fairfax.
My dearest Miss Fairfax, well, it is late on Christmas Eve, or perhaps I should say it is now very early Christmas morning. I should be going to bed, but I cannot settle down to sleep until I have at first sat down to write to you. I accompanied my uncle to a gathering at our neighbor's estate. My aunt declined to join us, but insisted that we do not neglect our neighbors on her behalf. She stayed home, attended by a friend, while my uncle and I went and made merry. At least, I tried to be as merry as I could. Uncle Churchill is understandably quite worried, so I made an extra effort to be light-hearted and provide distraction at all times. I even made him dance a little when dancing was called for. He protested it might appear unseemly, but I pointed out that the ladies far outnumbered the gentlemen, so it was his duty to his hostess to dance with her. It did my heart good to see him promenading down the center of the line, smiling. The pain of being apart from you right now is great, but I shall survive this, if only because I know you are counting on me too. If this killed me, I would not live to see you standing beside me at the altar some day soon. Our love is stronger than any obstacles life can throw in our path. We can endure this separation. Since I have failed to get you an invitation to Enscombe, I shall embark upon my original design to get myself to Highbury to visit my father and his bride. Your observation about family and torn loyalties is so true. I have not been as diligent in paying my respects to my father as you have been in fulfilling your obligations to your aunt and grandmother. Somewhere in the vastness of the English language are the words that will release me from my duty to my aunt long enough to do my duty by my father, which will put me within a short walk of your doorstep. Merry Christmas, my love. I swear I shall see you soon. Your faithful and devoted F. C. Weston Churchill.
Most well-beloved Mr. Churchill, it is Christmas morning, and neither my aunt nor my grandmother has yet stirred from their beds. I am happy for the moment of quiet with which to spend some time alone with you, at least as alone with you as pen and ink can stand as representative for standing beside you, hearing your voice, seeing your eyes, touching your hand, feeling the warmth of your smile washing over my being. The distress of being so far away from you feels less acute as I imagine what you are doing right now. Perhaps you are still asleep after your family hosted a dinner last night. Perhaps you are awake as early as I am and already looking at your breakfast plate. No matter what you are doing, I know you are thinking of me, even if you are asleep, since if so, you are dreaming of me, which is still a form of thinking of me. Knowing that you are is the sustenance that fires my spirit. I can face this Christmas without you, because this is the last time I will spend a Christmas without you. By this time next year, we will be husband and wife, and we will be hosting our own Christmas celebrations together. Your aunt and uncle will be healthy and well, and the four of us will be together, admiring the greenery we've hung on the stairs or around the fireplaces, toasting to all of our continued good health, enjoying music at the pianoforte, the one you say you have waiting for me. I believe this with all my heart. This agony of separation is only for now, not forever. We will get through this Christmas, secure in our love for each other and our faith in the future. Merry Christmas, my love, my friend, my reason for living, J. Fairfax.